i.e. me, who is doing graduate work. Because a lot of times you have to kind of narrow it down. So if you just put in psychology programs, you're going to get a whole bunch. You want to be specific. Clinical psychology. Then you're going to look at them. You can look at U.S. News and World Report. They rank programs across the country. So it's like, what kind of one do I want to look at? Do you want to live in particular areas? Not that you want to, commit to one particular area. You want to be open. But if you already know that you literally hate cold, don't look in the East or Midwest. You need to be looking on the West Coast. If you know that, if you're like me, you hate the heat, the Southwest, definitely not a place you want to be. 100 degrees is 100 degrees, regardless of whether it's humid or not. It's a lie. It's hot. I've been there. It's just wrong. It's just too hot. So those are things that you, like, if there's something that you know for a fact is non-negotiable, don't look at schools there. So what you want to do is start by looking at, what type of program do I want to be in? And it sounds to me that all of you have a fairly strong idea of what you want to do. Then it's a matter of kind of starting to narrow that process down. Do you want to go straight into grad school? Do you really think that a post-baccalaureate year or a prep year would be helpful for you? What kind of summer research? And then based on that, if you get summer research and it ends up being this amazing experience, that school's going to look 1,000 times better to you than it would had you not had the summer research experience. But my thing is the web is a great place to start. And then you look at other things like U.S. News and World Report. Or what you can do is look at our programs and get an idea of what you want, and then start trying to find programs that are similar. What are the schools around here that we are consistently ranked with or compared to? Talk to your advisors. Talk to your faculty members. They're going to have suggestions on schools, especially if you actually have an appointment and you meet with them or you email them and you're like, I'm really looking to go into graduate school in clinical psych. How would you suggest I go about starting to research that? Are there any programs that you think would be of particular interest to me? Use the resources that you have and let them help you as well, so that you're actually getting a lot more information than if you would be doing all of the research just on your own.
Can you tell me how many schools should I consider even applying to?
A lot of that depends on the field. For the most part, most students on average usually apply to anywhere from 6 to 10 schools. But a lot of it also depends on your budget. We have one of the lower application fees. Ours is $50. Other schools, it's $100 to apply, which is why you want to do the research. Can you get waivers for application fees? What is necessary for you to do that? A lot of times if you have a summer research experience, you end up applying to that school, they're not going to charge you an application fee. Our post-bac, you go through the post-bac, you apply, we're not charging you an application fee. You're already here in a known commodity, so we're not going to charge you. So those are the things that you want to look at too, is what can your budget actually afford, because a lot of those application fees are really expensive. And so that's why you want to do that research and have an idea and look at when everything's due and how do I want to do this.
What are some common mistakes that you have seen with students who are applying for graduate school?
They don't start far enough in advance, so the entire process is rushed. And you can tell when an application is rushed, that there wasn't enough time or thought put into it. Proofreading, grammar, spell check, those things tend to be very common. You don't follow the instructions for the application. They tell you 1-inch margins, 12-point font, no more than 2 pages double-sided, but you feel that what you have to say is so more important than it can be contained in the 2 pages, that you give them a third page. You don't know how to follow directions? How are you going to follow directions in graduate school? That application's out. Those are things that you really want to do. That's why, once again, you want to do your research, start out far enough in advance, come up with a chart, know exactly what you have to do for each school that you're applying for, so that you've read that application. You have any questions about the application once you read it, don't hesitate to contact the school. Do you have an essay prompt? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Do you have any hints on what makes a candidate a strong candidate that you would be willing to share with me as you're doing research into the schools that you want to apply to? What's the percentage of applicants that get admitted? What's the number that actually enrolls? How many of the students in your program are funded? What's the type of funding? These are all things that you want to actually think about as you're, moving ahead and starting to investigate. Have a set of questions. Don't be afraid to ask those questions. The whole point is you're kind of shopping, and they're shopping as well, and you're hoping that both your interests align. So you want to make sure you're getting as much information as possible to make sure that that program is going to be a program that you want to invest your money applying to, and that's going to be a fit for you if you actually get in. Any other questions? Once again, brilliant. I expect you all to have perfect applications and to get in everywhere you're applying to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.